We're listening to. We're listening to. We're listening to. We're listening to Adam Upman's podcast. You're listening to Adam Upman.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah. Do you want to be? Are you going to kind of be the more the presenter role?
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, I'll ask you lots of questions if that's okay.
That sounds good.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Can you see me at all? Am I just a silhouette?
Yeah, you're just a silhouette.
Yeah.
Right, welcome to the first edition of Adam Up Maths Podcast. We don't know what we're doing, but we're going to have a go. Just to give you a bit of background, my name's James Summerfield and I work at a special school in the West Midlands. And what about you, Sam? Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. My name my name is Sam and I work at a secondary school in New Zealand. And I'm a maths teacher at the moment, but I have been a special educational needs teacher in the past as well.
Excellent. And tell us a little bit about how Adam Up happened.
Oh, well, you know what? I think we can all agree that at times maths can be a little bit, dull sometimes. And I know there's lots and lots of stuff going on out there. There's lots of great resources, but I think we found, and we're working it in our school, that we wanted to try and put a bit of pizzazz in the maths world.
Yeah, skip to the end.
So one day, this isn't the end. We're going very much at the start. I've
got to interrupt you. Have you got a baby in the background?
No.
Okay, that's all right.
There's one child's walked in.
Oh.
So yeah, one day we made a song, didn't we? And it was about two times table.
Yeah.
And it was called Double. Do you remember that one?
Well, I didn't plan this, but I happen to have my guitar here.
Oh, that's convenient.
I honestly didn't plan it. If you multiply by 2.
Well, it wasn't even that, James. It wasn't even that one. It was one that didn't ever make it. We never recorded it, but it was called Double. And it goes like, I said double. I said double. I said double. It's the same as times by 2.
Well, that wouldn't work because you've just done 3 doubles. You've done a triple double. I thought that was double. Or double. I thought it was like a fun...
you just made a new song. But
double.
No, you can play that one. Then we did do. Then we changed it and we did. If you multiply by 2, double's what you do. If you multiply by 4, you double once more.
Yeah, the one I started singing, and
that one
interrupted me. Now put my guitar down.
Yeah, that's the one. And then that became quite fun, didn't it? It was, and the kids loved it. And I think we did it in assembly, and we got everyone singing along. And we thought, well, actually, we could do some more here. And then it just sort of spawned many songs that we've made since. And then we thought, well, I'll tell you what, let's actually share them out there and make them accessible. And then why not make some other things to go along with it as well? So, and a few little games.
It was good. We did a few gigs, didn't we?
Yeah, in inverted commas. Did some gigs.
We had a whole Adam Up Maths Day, didn't we? As in the curriculum. So we'd get all of lower school, which was early years to key stage 2, in the hall, doing differentiated activities. And I think that's where you started to think more about coming up with activity worksheets and games and things like that.
Yeah,
that was good fun.
Yeah.
But then we just ended up recording more and more, and we'd pass ourselves in the corridor and go, to 50% of it, and start singing to each other.
Well, I think that Yeah, I think that was the best thing, wasn't it? When the students were singing the songs down the corridor as well, and
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
sort of was really a good thing to be doing and pursuing. I think Perimeter is still the one, isn't it? That I suppose
It's
the
the
gets
hit.
stuck in people's head the most. It's the it's the hit. Yeah,
So the
yeah.
idea, though, really is what we realised is the really wordy songs, of which there are a few, are quite good because you can do games with them. You could do like recall games and stuff. But the most effective ones are the ones like Perimeter, which, if you give us a quick rendition, please, Sam.
Perimeter, easy to find. Add up the lengths
lens
around
around
the
the outside.
outside.
And that's it. So the ones that with very small amount of language in there is better for our students, may stick in your head as well. So that's what we tried to go for from there on.
I
And
didn't
then
tell you this actually, but the other day I came across a YouTube video that was almost, the words were almost identical to that. So maybe a bit of plagiarism going on
well,
with that one.
it might be, but the fact is, the perimeter, the logic behind it is a real thing that we haven't made up. So we haven't made up the concept of perimeter, unfortunately. So there are going to be very similar songs. It's a bit
quite
like
a limited concept, isn't it?
I wrote a love song the other day, and I was listening to Lionel Richie. Plagiarism. I think he copied me. He was writing a love song as well. No, that's not how he works. So moving swiftly on, because we're in danger of waffling. You came up with some animation, very, very low budget animation, and I have to say, and it is naff, but that's kind of what's endearing about it, really. It's a bit naff. We had a little bit of interest from NUT Union magazine, who came in, took some photographs, and we really had to think about the spin. What is this all about, and who's our target audience? And really, when we had a discussion about this the other day, it's for people who find it difficult to, like myself, even now, to recall facts, and to visualize mathematical concepts as well. So, do you want to add to that, Sam?
Yeah. I think that's kind of it. Most of the songs focus on key facts you need to know, or key vocabulary. So, like perimeter, what does it mean? What are the number 1s to 10? That kind of stuff. So we're not going. It's not highly complex problem solving and that sort of end of things. I mean, they're sort of looking to build on with that side, but really it is getting those key facts down and giving the students the chance to try and remember them. Memorable ways of learning these key things. And so whilst we can sort of, but I think it's interesting because it starts off with we were working at a special educational needs school, and sort of the students there, that was kind of who we were aiming it towards. But the more I've kind of used it in mainstream schooling as well, I find it to be just as effective. And so I really sort of, it's for everyone at the end of the day.
Quite often I get teaching assistants and other support assistants coming through who need their maths and literacy, if they've got a D, for example, and they're
that's old money there, James.
That's old money. It's old money in old money, but I'm talking about old money generation, and that's what happened with me. I had to retake my maths as well, because I did struggle with maths at school, and when I realised, even the concepts, like, I know this sounds ridiculous to you, who's a natural mathematician, but the 5 times table is a brilliant example where I could count. So with multiplication, I'd go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And I'd use my fingers to work out 7 times 5. And I'd just have to recall it in my head. If someone had told me half the number you're multiplying, then times by 10, which is one of our Adamant Maths lyrics for the 5 times table, I'd have just got it like that. Half of 7, 3.5, 35. And I do now, and you can work with really big numbers, and it's those sort of things that would, certainly when I was at school, and I can see it in special and I can see it in mainstream, that especially mainstream, there is a pace that where students need to be at, and if you haven't got those fundamental skills, you haven't got those fluency skills, then you get lost, and then it ultimately it puts you off maths, and so things need to change, I think, and Adam Up does that.
Adam Up maths, put in the fun and fundamental.
Can I say at this point that it's free? None of this is something we're trying to sell, and it's been going on for probably, would you say, about 12 years, maybe?
Yeah, well, that's when we first started writing the songs. I mean, the website's only been up a few months, so that stuff's quite recent. But and it's always been free from the beginning.
So we've got lots and lots and lots of videos, and they've become popular because maths is the sort of thing that gets a lot of hits on YouTube, because lots of teachers and students obviously search for things like that when they're doing their studies. But recently, Sam, would you like to talk about all of the millions of resources that you put on there for your mastery stuff?
Oh yeah, I think mastery is a word that might avoid.
Okay, your worksheets and games.
Well,
the word we should avoid as well, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I think the whole idea is it's about making it. It's a bit of a cliche, but making it fun. And I think the videos, the songs, they're colourful and sort of there's some sort of funny little things on there. But trying to sort of keep that theme. So the games on there are ways of practicing basic skills. So whether it's knowing what the square numbers are, or evens and odds, or whatever it is, using little games to enjoy it and just to practice in a fun way. And it doesn't even have to be at school. They're made so you can print them off. You can do them at home. So I think they're also great if anyone's been homeschooled, or even just families in a weekend. You can print the game off and play it. They're all kind of dice games. They're fairly simple. So that's sort of a big resource on the website. And now there are also some other things. So there are sort of models to help you to see the maths going on. So things like, it's sort of traditional stuff, nothing new, things like number lines and 100 squares and bar models. So lots of templates to help with that side, because we think that's really important as well, being able to see the maths going on. And also working on some number facts practice resources, which sort of based around a story. And I think that's what we'll get on to. That will kind of be the theme of the podcast, will be kind of coming up with creative ways to introduce these what could be mundane topics.
Yeah, certainly with the practice resources, we're talking about fluency, we're talking about assessment. You've got well, it is, isn't it? Well, the way we use it. So we've trialed it at my school, and in Blighty, not New Zealand, and it's going really well, because what we've realised is that our students should have, in fact, I'd say mainstream as well, should have fluency every single day for 15 minutes, and there should be some kind of assessment going on, and a little bit of teaching as well. So because it's for fluency is the most important thing, because it's a bit like chicken and me egg situation, isn't it? Got a very creaky chair. I've got to learn to sit very still.
Oh, just like a bad tummy.
Oh no, I've got a bad back sitting like this as well. So anyway, so we've trialed that, and it's a way of incorporating the appropriate videos with the 15-minute starter. And then it's a horrible word, but it is something that educators need to do, is to test or quiz the students, see what they know, so that we can show progress over time. So that's something that we've done, and it's highly differentiated through, I mean, Adam Up is obviously a pun. We've got milliliter. Who else we got?
Oh, well, there's milliliter. And
milliliter. I thought it was milliliter.
Well, millimeter. There's millimeter, and there's milliliter. This is
a bit close.
Well, there was a limited number of puns I could think of, but then I've thought about other ones since. So maybe Mila will take a hike, but we'll see.
So
there's angle.
Angle.
I don't know. but it was fun and fundamental.
If you're listening to this podcast, because originally we've got a format for this and we're going to stick to a format, but actually I think this podcast should literally just be about who we're about and what our vision is. But if you are listening to this, even if it's 10, 20, 30 years down the line, if you've got any suggestions for names or activities or anything like that, then please get in touch with us. Our website is www.adamupmaths.com. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did really well.
I remembered it. Thank you.
And if you want to, so contact at the bottom of the website, there are links to the Facebook and Twitter pages. So you can contact us through those two.
Excellent. Brilliant. Okay. So what have we got for the future? What sort of things are we thinking about, Sam?
Well, what I've just started working on, and the first thing went up last night, was building in some questions which we can link with the songs. So, I mean, I think the songs by themselves are great, but it could be quite easy for a lot of kids to be quite passive when watching it, and you won't necessarily know. So, finding some questions that link to each song to check how well the students have understood what they've heard. Mm-hmm. And the way I sort of split that is into 3 sections. So the idea is you'd watch the song, let's say the square number song, and then the first set of questions are called the launch questions. And they are questions pretty much directly related to what they've heard. So in the square number song, the words are, to square a number, there's a simple trick. Multiply the number by itself to get you it. And so one of the questions is, to square a number, there's a simple trick, ... So sort of fill in the gaps. What were the rest of the words?
Yeah.
Also on the video with the animation, there are some examples. So one of the examples on that one is showing 3 squared, which is 9. And then so in these launch questions, it would be, what is 3 squared? So those launch ones are really, what have you heard or seen specifically on the video with the song? Mm-hmm. The next one is the autopilot questions. And those ones are questions to build the fluency and recalling of the facts or what the words mean or so on. So again, that square numbers one, it's just be something like, well, what is 5 squared? What is the square root of 36? So just nothing complex, no sort of reasoning or anything like that. Just checking if the students have got the idea. And then the final stage called the hyperdrive questions. When I say hyperdrive, can you do an echo? The hyperdrive.
That's an in-joke.
And,
for Adam Maths fans.
Yeah, all 3 of them. And they're my kids. Oh, 4.
Well, us as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the hyperdrive ones are when you're starting to build in some reasoning and some further thinking and some more open-ended questions as well. So the idea is,
carry on. Sorry,
you watch the song, and then everyone will do the initial ones, and then you kind of sort of, the teacher would get a feel for which students would benefit from the different sets of questions, and you hope that everyone would be able to get to the hyperdrive ones.
Yep.
Maths, put in the fun and fundamental.
They're very, very memorable.
Yeah. I remember saying we're going to be learning about the volume of a cuboid today, and as I said, volume of a cuboid, the one little voice came from the back of the room and said, "It's the length times width times height." Yes, that's what it is. But I think another thing, going right back to that sort of those group of students who appear to find it embarrassing and not interested. I mean, this takes you back even before the Adam Up stuff, when I was teaching at another school actually in New Zealand, and I sang a song about averages, and different to the Adam Up one, but it was mean adds average, mode is most, median in the middle, range high low, like Fred Rasheka. And same reaction. I think this was a group of year 10 students, and they're going, "Oh, stop it! Oh, yeah." And then I remember they were doing their assessment, couple of months later on, and it was in silent, one of those sort of silent conditions. And I was sort of walking around the desks, and I just heard this little whispering going on. And it was one of these kids who had made a big fuss about hating it. He was going, "Me, that's suffrage. Me, that's suffrage. Modus, most." And it does work. There are so many things you have to learn in the maths curriculum. I think to the UK or the English primary curriculum, and it's absolutely chock-a-block with stuff that you need to know. So any way to help remember those things is always a good thing.
But we teach for concrete, pictorial, and abstract. But even if you do that for something like squared numbers, which I think is going to be our first podcast, is it square numbers we can do?
Well, we could do that. We could do anything.
Okay. Well, we'll start with that. Even something like that, the vocabulary is quite difficult to learn. But if you think about, you can have students who are, I don't know, have significant communication and speech and language, so they're perceptive and receptive, and knowledge of vocabulary, breadth of vocabulary is very low, yet they can remember entire pop songs and can sing. So I think the concept of this is, if they can remember a whole song, then surely they can remember a few words, which is going back to what we said at the start, was it's about reducing the language as much as we can, and making it sort of meaningful and fun to remember. The songs are supposed to, what we try to do when we write these songs is come up with lyrics and melody that is really annoying and gets stuck in your head, because that's the sort of stuff that will make the difference. We haven't really described what it's all about, really. So the backstory. So shall I read from a website, Sam? And when I do a little bit of mixing, perhaps I could put some spacey music underneath.
That'd be lovely.
Adam Up is an alien from the planet Number. He is not a big fan of maths and prefers not to try when faced with number problems. One day, when exploring the office belonging to his mother, a famous explorer and a famous explorer who mysteriously disappeared several years ago, Adam finds a magical calculator. When he turns the calculator on, creatures called the number crunchers pop out and explain what happened to his mother. She had travelled to the land of problems, where she'd hoped to find the golden ratio, but she never came back. Adam discovers a portal to the land of problems and plans to jump through it. However, just before he does, his best friend, Millimeter, enters, and the two travel together. As Adam and Millie reach the land of problems, they realise that their maths skills need to be sharp. But with concentration and a little bit of help from the number crunchers, they might just make it and possibly find Adam's mother. Now, I've got to say, the number crunchers are little bearded aliens that come out of the magic calculator. Yep. And Adam Up lives on the planet Number as well. So that gives you a bit of a backstory. You want to add to anything to that, Sam? Well,
I think one thing that the listeners might find interesting is the spelling of Numbirth, because this was for many years it was Numbearth.
Yeah.
But that's I don't think you might not even know, but it's changed.
Has it?
Yeah.
So, do you know what? If I was a teacher listening to this podcast, or an interested parent, and I heard your little fact there, I would switch off immediately and not listen to any more podcasts, because that's irrelevant and people haven't got time to listen to rubbish like that. So either I'll leave this in and
you can put it in the outtakes. You can put it in the outtakes, can you? Or the extended version. You know, like there's when you get Lord of the Rings and the extended version's actually
Have you
4 hours long.
Have you heard about this new? Well, not new. Have you heard about this Adam at Math scheme? Yes, brilliant. Apparently, it started off with the TH for number, and then they changed it to an F. Is that right?
No.
Number.
No. The problem with it looked like numb Earth
Oh,
as opposed to So now it's NUMBERTH number.
Got you.
Yeah. But we can put that. You can put
We'll
that
edit.
in the
We'll edit that.
extended part.
Like I don't know, Scoob. Adam at Maths. Putting fun in fundamental, Scoob.
Okay.
I will just say one thing on it, which might be of interest, is that I think the way we'd love it to go is to create this sort of little mini Adam Up universe where all the skills that are taught can be taught through contexts related to Adam Up's adventures. And I think, again, this is what a lot of the next the series of podcasts will focus on, is creating little scenarios that Adam Up and Millimeter will encounter, which will require them to know these math skills that we'll be talking about. So that's kind of where it's going.
Podcasts are really cool, aren't they? We've never done one before, but I can literally just switch off, not listen to what you say, and then just come in and just start a new topic. I was just looking at instead of listening to you, the philosophy. I think we've on a website we've covered everything there, haven't we? So,
yeah, we sort of briefly mentioned the models. I'll just say as well that on the videos with the songs, that there are models on pretty much every one. I think there might be the odd one that doesn't. So evens and odds, and there's 100 square that's used to model it. On square numbers, there's a visual of 3 squared is made up of 3 by 3 little squares to make the 9, and things like that. So just trying to keep that visualization alongside the songs as well.
Great. Right. So to finish off, just give you an idea of what the podcast format's going to be. So we will have a theme tune. That's really important.
Yeah.
I'm working on that at the moment. And then we'll have an overview of the episode. So we'll be the skills focus. So I think we'll probably start with square numbers, just because we've talked about them now. And then we'll introduce a skill and show you how that's differentiated. We might talk around the concept as well, what the misconceptions are, etc. And then we might play a little song, not just any song, an Adam Up song, obviously. Discuss our favourite model to teach the skill, the pros and cons, and then give examples of games and activities that you can do that are either on a website or not on the website. And then there's any other business, AOB. What we would like is to build, the purpose of this podcast really is to build the sort of maths community. Hopefully, Sam, you'll get some listeners from New Zealand, and hopefully we'll get some listeners from the UK. We do get quite a lot of visitors from the US, don't we?
Oh, absolutely massive in the US.
Might be down to our fantastic country songs that we have. So it would be really good to get everyone's feedback and to add. And this is something that we're not particularly precious about. And we, as I said, we've never charged for these resources. We do it because essentially we wanted our students to get the best. And we felt that this really worked. And it's worked for many, many years. So we're sharing's caring, but it'd be really good to get some ideas from other professionals and other teachers as well. You know, perhaps if you've got a concept that you're struggling with, or you think that we could perhaps do a song and a video for, then that would be fantastic.
Can I just say, as a bit of a tagline, that I think that Adam at Maths is about putting the fun in fundamental.
Okay.
But Or you could add some hay bale.
Can you say that
sound
again?
effect. Yeah.
And I'll turn it into some kind of interlude phrase. Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
I think Adam at Maths is about putting the fun.
No. Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
Okay, yeah, go on then.
And again, best radio voice.
Yeah. Okay. Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
Basic microphone technique. When you it distorts, right? That's why people have pop screens.
Well, yeah, I don't have one.
Hang on, is there a P in our sentence? Adam at Maths.
Yeah, there's a...
Oh, yeah, there's a put in.
Up. Adam up.
Adam up. Adam. Oh, yeah. Radio 4, sort of lean into the mic. Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
That's better. I'm still getting a p. So just put your hand over the...
Oh, okay.
Just put your hand in front of the mic, but lean right into the mic.
Okay. All right. Oh. We're listening to Adam at Maths, putting the fun...
No, you're too close to the mic now. It sounds phased.
Try again. Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
Now just do one more
I thought of another one as well. Oh,
this time, I'll just imagine just climbed Mount Tour.
Out of breath.
But in a blizzard. But you're the only one there. And you look around you, and there's this beautiful, beautiful scenery.
It's just some sort of mindfulness.
And you say to yourself,
Adam at Maths, putting the fun in fundamental.
Okay, just say it one more time now. This time, you're being chased by a rhinoceros into a magical cave.
Oh, Adam at Maths. Oh, putting the fun